Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming MCS exams happening in August 2024. My name is Nick and I'm one of the lead tutors and evaluators for MCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. So first things first, I'm going to take you through or provide you with an overview about the MCS exam. If you are coming through the CIMA general route, you already know how a CIMA examination works. Probably because you have completed your OCS exam as of now. However, if you are coming through an exemption route, such as the FLP or the Master's Gateway program, it's of utmost importance that you understand what this exam is all about and how your knowledge is tested. So with the intention of covering these elements, I will be providing an overview into your MCS exam in the first part of today's session. And in the second part, I will be providing an 8-week study plan with you. I'll be actually sharing an 8-week study plan with you. And if you stick to the study plan, you just need to allocate 7 hours of study time per week and conduct all preparations under a stress-free environment. Okay, so I'll talk about these things later on in this session. Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritties, let me quickly remind you about the free webinars and workshops which we have lined up for you. So from today until your examination, you have roughly 8+ weeks, something like 8.5 weeks at your disposal. So every week, every weekend, we are conducting a webinar or a workshop until your examination. So make use of these free sessions which we are conducting, because on a weekly basis you have a chance of getting in touch with me or Jared, our co-tutor for MCS, thereby having the opportunity to keep track of your performance on a weekly basis, to keep track of whether you are adhering to the study plan or not. And if you need any type of help on a weekly basis, you can reach out to a tutor, so that you are in a position to really understand what your shortcomings are and work towards overcoming your shortcomings. And on the other hand, keep improving on a weekly basis. So the second webinar, pre-scene analysis, is happening next Saturday at 16 GMT. So in the pre-scene analysis, I will be taking you through the pre-scene document, thereby conducting an industry analysis, as well as taking you through the internal dynamics of your chosen company. And in the third webinar, which is the most important webinar out of the 4 webinars which we have scheduled for you, the third webinar highlights an answering technique. So when developing your answers, you have to stick to a certain strategy. And on top of that, it's of utmost importance that you manage your time at the MCS exam, because most students end up failing MCS because they are not too conversant about how they can manage their time appropriately. Because if you run out of time, chances of you passing the MCS exam is extremely low. So with these things in mind, we have developed a special answering technique. And if you keep practicing this answering technique when attempting the mock exams, you will never run out of time at your exam. And at the same time, you will develop high quality or well-structured answers. If so, you can easily pass the MCS exam. So all these things will be taught in the third webinar. And on top of that, I will also teach you how to implement them in a practical sense by taking you through one of the mock exam questions which we have developed for you. And in the fourth webinar, exam prep, I will be taking you through examiner's comments, because it's of utmost importance that you understand what's expected from you by listening to the CIMA examiner. And on top of that, I will also highlight what you need to do to develop a high level of confidence. Because if you are confident as a student, as per the CIMA examiner, if you're confident, chances of you passing the MCS exam is extremely high. And in the workshops, I will be taking you through certain mock exams which we have developed for you, focusing primarily on the 3 pillars, E2, F2, and P2, with the intention of ensuring that you understand how each pillar or how each theoretical element is covered within mock exams and how your knowledge is tested pertaining to these syllabus areas. So this is what's happening in the workshops. And on top of that, these workshops are conducted as Q&As as well. So by this time, by the time you are attending the workshops, you should be done with 1 or 2 mock exams as per our study plan. So once you are done with the mock exams, you will definitely have questions, and we are always ready to address your concerns and give solutions. So that's what's happening via the workshops. And the final workshop, which occurs 2 or 3 days before your examination, myself and Jared will be sharing last minute tips with you, with the intention of ensuring that you walk into the exam with a positive mindset. Because as I told you earlier, if you're confident about your skill set, if you believe in yourself, chances of you passing the MCS exam is extremely high. This is not us telling you this. It's the CIMA examiner who is telling us about students who are confident, who can easily pass the MCS exam. So make use of these free sessions which we are offering on a weekly basis. Get in touch with us. Even if you do not invest on a study material prepared by us, even if you're utilizing study material of some other service provider, that's totally fine. You can get in touch with us on a weekly basis and keep track of your performance. Okay, so having said that, let's get into the nitty-gritties of today's webinar. Before that, some questions had come through. Yes. Okay. It appears that one of you is facing an issue with sounds, but the others are not facing the same issue. So if you are feeling or experiencing certain disturbances or discrepancies, that's totally fine. You can watch the recorded version once we are done with this webinar. Okay, so pathway to MCS, there are a set of students who are coming through the CIMA general route. So if so, you would have completed your E2, F2, and P2 OTQ exams. And on top of that, you would have completed your OCS exam some time back. So because of that, you know how a CIMA examination works, a case study examination, a CIMA case study examination works, since you have done OCS before. And on top of that, since you had completed your E2, F2, and P2 OTQs, you know your theory. So if you are such a student who is coming through the general route, you just need to focus on improving your application skills, or the way in which you should utilize your knowledge and apply your knowledge when developing answers, considering what's highlighted within each and every question or each and every scenario. So your life is a bit easier compared to a student who's coming through the exemption route, because you have already learned theory. So as I said earlier, you just need to focus on improving your application skills. And there are another set of students coming through the Master's Gateway program, as well as the FLP or Finance Leadership program. So both these set of students, you have not done an CIMA examination previously. You have not completed your OCS exam. So because of that, you'd feel that this exam is a bit tricky, because you would have landed at the Master's Gateway program or the FLP after completing an academic qualification. So in an academic qualification, your theoretical knowledge is heavily tested, because usually your knowledge is tested via assignments and presentations and whatnot. So you have time to prepare for your presentations. You have some time to conduct your own research when doing up your assignments. However, at this examination, things are a bit tough, because you need to conduct your own preparation across 7 to 8 weeks, and you have to sit for an exam which goes on for 3 hours. And within these 3 hours, you cannot refer to any of your short notes, your study notes and whatnot. The examiner is trying to figure out whether you have the capability of utilizing your theoretical knowledge in a practical sense, thereby providing solutions as a finance manager. So CIMA is a professional qualification, so your practical application skills are tested heavily. So when dealing with these set of students who are coming through an exemption route, what I've encountered is you guys are totally conversant with what's covered under the E2 syllabus, because the E2 syllabus has everything to do with project management and human aspects, or human resources management, or HRM. So these elements are usually covered within academic qualifications. However, when it comes to P2 and F2, F2 has everything to do with IASs and IFRSs, especially focusing on consolidations and whatnot. And when it comes to P2, it has everything to do with management accountancy. So I've encountered knowledge gaps in P2 and F2 related syllabus areas. So if you are coming through an exemption route, you need to really learn P2 and F2 related theory, then start working on your application skills. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're coming through the general route, you have already learned theory. You simply need to focus on improving your application skills. However, if you're coming through an exemption route, you need to learn theory and at the same time focus on improving your application skills. So if you're coming through an exemption route, your life is a bit tough relative to a normal CIMA student. However, you need not worry. We have developed study resources with the intention of ensuring that you learn theory and improve application skills within just 8 weeks. We have tutored hordes of students who come through the exemption route, who are clueless about F2 and P2 syllabi. However, they end up passing the MCS exam in the first time itself, simply by sticking to our 8-week study plan. Okay, so I will explain these things later on within the same session. Okay, so looking at the exam, this is a PC-based examination. You can attempt the exam at home, or you can attempt the exam at an exam center. If you are residing in a certain location where there are discrepancies in the internet, or if you face power shortages and whatnot, then it's best that you attempt your exam at an exam center rather than at your home. Okay, so this is a PC based exam. The total time allocation is 3 hours. So the exam is divided into 4 main tasks. So each task, the time allocation of each task is 45 minutes. So the examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment at the examination. So these are not generic questions you'd get. Instead, it's as if you are receiving an email from your senior finance manager or some other type of a senior manager who is working within your company. So just like in your real corporate settings, when developing your answers, if you provide highly theoretical answers, you are not going to get marks, because at office, when working at office, if you receive an email from your boss, what happens is you need to understand what's highlighted within the email shared with you, and considering what's highlighted within the email, you have to come up with relevant responses. There's absolutely no point of you trying to reiterate theory, because your boss is not too interested in learning theory after reading through your email. Instead, you need to read through what's highlighted within the scenario and then come up with your evaluations or recommendations which are totally aligned with what's highlighted within the scenario. So this is where you need to really focus on improving your application skills. So that's how the tasks are developed. And when preparing for your examination, you should not look at developing a time plan which spans across 3 hours. Instead, you have to focus on what you need to do on a task by task basis, because let's assume the first 45 minutes are done, the first task is done. Once the time runs out, you will be directed to task number 2, and once you are in task number 2, you have 45 minutes at your disposal once more. And once the 45 minutes run out, you will be directed to task number 3. So if you are in task number 3, you cannot go back to task number 1 or 2, or you cannot move forward to task number 4 without completing task number 3. So really, when it comes to managing your time, you should focus on 45-minute slots, 4 slots of 45 minutes each. There's absolutely no point of thinking about how we are supposed to manage your time in 3 hours. Instead, you have to focus on 4 45-minute slots. You'd understand how to do these things after I take you through the answering technique and time management techniques, which are covered within our third webinar. And the pass mark is 80 out of 150, or in other terms, you need to score 54% to pass. So this is quite easy if you stick to our study plan. If you do your revision appropriately, again by adhering to our study plan, you can easily gain these amount of marks, because you can end up losing marks. Your objective should not be to get full marks. Instead, try to come up with the best type of answers. So in order to come up with the best type of answers, in order to structure your answers properly, you need to keep practicing our answering and time management techniques. And on top of that, you need to conduct revision focused on the mock exams which we have prepared. You'd understand how to do these things later on, as well as when we are conducting the third webinar. Okay, so let's look at your role. So as I mentioned earlier, the CIMA MCS, in the CIMA MCS exam, the examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So in this corporate environment, you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. So you are located within the middle level of the organization. So you are actually the link between the corporate level or the strategic level, where you get the board members, and at the operational level, you find the low-level employees who are involved with day-to-day operations. So you are the link between the board members and operational level employees. So you really need to be conversant about the way in which you conduct your communications. You have to be involved with the human aspects, managing conflicts within the work environment and whatnot. And on top of that, you are involved with decision making. So you are expected to come up with recommendations. So at the OCS exam, if you're coming through the general route, your recommendations were limited to recommending KPIs. However, at this stage, as a finance manager, you are involved with decision making. You are involved with medium-term decision making. So you are expected to conduct evaluations based on the information presented in each scenario. And on top of that, you are expected to come up with your own recommendations. So when recommending something, you have to utilize your theoretical knowledge. So as I mentioned earlier, just because you know theory, if you come up with highly theoretical answers which are not too relevant to what's highlighted within the scenario, you won't pass this exam. That's why CIMA is considered to be a professional qualification. So the examiner is testing your application skills. So as a finance manager, you need to utilize your theoretical knowledge when conducting evaluations, when coming up with your recommendations. However, you have to take all steps necessary to ensure that your answers are totally aligned with the internal and external dynamics of your company, and your answers are totally aligned with what's highlighted within the scenario. Okay, so at this stage, at the MCS level, a higher level of application and practical thinking is expected. So theories will be tested. So if you're not too conversant with your F2 and P2 syllabi, you cannot pass this exam. And on top of that, just because you know theory, you cannot pass this exam. You have to really focus on your application skills, because practical decision making is tested at this level as well. So if you have done OCS, it was a highly, theoretical examination. 85% of weightage was provided for theoretical elements. So your role was to simply reiterate theory when developing your answers. But at the MCS level, you have to really work on your application skills. So you need to learn theory and significantly improve your application skills. If so, you are fit to play the role of a finance manager in a successful manner. Okay, so let's look at an overview of the exam. Information is provided about a fictitious company in advance via a pre-seen document. So I hope you would have already referred to the pre-seen document, because the same pre-seen which was utilized for the May exam session is utilized for the August session as well. So by this time, since the pre-seen has been out for the past 2 or 3 months, you should have gone through the pre-seen document. So this pre-seen document is divided into 4 main elements. In the first part, the examiner gives you an introduction about the chosen company. In the second part, the examiner highlights about the internal dynamics of your chosen company. In the third part, the examiner talks about the industry dynamics. And in the fourth and final part, the examiner has shared the financial statements of your chosen company and its closest competitor. So you have to be extremely conversant with the entire pre-seen document, so that you are fit to play the role of a finance manager of your chosen company. So as a finance manager, if you want to be successful, you have to be conversant about your company's internal dynamics, the way in which your company conducts its affairs. And on top of that, you have to be conversant with the external dynamics or how the industry works. Because whenever you are recommending something, you have to come up with recommendations which are totally aligned with the external dynamics of the company. And on top of that, as a finance manager, you have to be conversant in the way in which the company conducts its affairs in a financial sense. You are not just playing the role of a manager, you are playing the role of a finance manager. So you have to know your numbers as well, especially given the fact that the financial statements of your own company and its closest competitor are provided at the end of your pre-seen document. So with the intention of ensuring that you really understand the pre-seen document without any hiccups, we have developed something called the annotated pre-seen. As you can see, we have come up with tutor annotations, so with the intention of ensuring that you understand the pre-seen properly. And on top of that, as part of these annotations, we have also highlighted probable exam scenarios which can be tested, because it's usual for the examiner to provide some hints about what type of scenarios can be tested at your real exam. And on top of that, as part of these annotations, we have also highlighted certain syllabus areas which can be tested, or E2, F2 or P2 related syllabus areas which can be tested at your real exam. So once you have access to this annotated pre-seen, you need not spend time to conduct your own research and figure out what happens within your company, your industry, as well as what appears within the financial statements. We have done it for you. So once you go through these annotations, you'd understand the type of syllabus areas which can be tested, the type of scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real exam. And on top of that, these annotations are a good summary of the entire pre-seen. So you can easily understand what's highlighted within the pre-seen document by gaining access to the annotated pre-seen. So in the exam, you are required to address issues or questions relating to the managerial aspects of the company. Or since you're playing the role of a finance manager, you are, as I mentioned earlier, you are located at the middle level of the organization. So management aspects has everything to do with managing your team members as well as managing operational level employees. And as a manager, you have to conduct your evaluations, and on top of that, you have to provide your recommendations, and you have to communicate with board members as well as operational level employees. So when developing answers, you have to show to the examiner that you are extremely conversant about what happens within your company as well as what happens within your chosen industry. And on top of that, you need to show to the examiner that you have learned E2, P2, and F2, what's covered under E2, P2, and F2 syllabi. So when developing answers, you need to first, make sure to develop answers which are totally aligned with what's highlighted within each scenario. And on top of that, with the intention of further improving the quality of your answers, whenever necessary, you need to bring in information from the pre-seen. You'll learn how to do it in our next webinar, because I'm going to teach you these things when after taking you through the pre-seen document. And on top of that, when providing your evaluations or recommendations, if you want to provide high quality recommendations, or if you want to evaluate something properly, you have to utilize your theoretical knowledge which you have gained via E2, P2, and F2 syllabi. So you need to show to the examiner that you know your theories, and on top of that, simply coming up with theoretical answers won't help. You need to apply it to the scenario given, and your recommendations and evaluations should be aligned with the internal dynamics and the external dynamics of the company, and it should be aligned with what's highlighted within the financial statements as well. Okay, so that's what you are expected to face where at your examination. So let's look at a to-do list. So you have 8.5 weeks at your disposal. So within these 8.5 weeks, you have to complete all these activities which I've highlighted here. So first things first, you have to read the annotated pre-seen. You saw what an annotated pre-scene looks like a while back. And after going through the annotated pre-scene, you are supposed to watch the four pre-scene analysis videos. So as I mentioned earlier, your pre-scene document is divided into four main elements. So focused on each element, we have developed a set of pre-scene analysis videos. And once you watch these videos, you'd gain an in-depth understanding about what happens within your company, what happens within your chosen industry, and what's highlighted within the financial statements. So once you gain an understanding about your company, its industry, as well as its financial statements, you have to start attempting mock exams. So we have developed 5 exam standard and pre-scene specific mock exams. I've encountered students who try to, when attempting these mock exams, would try to refer to past exam variants. I strongly discourage it, because past papers or past exam variants are based on different pre-scene documents, and within these pre-scene documents, what's highlighted are about totally different companies, totally different financial statements, totally different industries. So if you rely on past papers, you cannot ace your MCS exam. Instead, when preparing for examination, you have to attempt exam standard and pre-scene specific mock exams. And on top of that, you have to attend the live webinars and workshops, which are conducted towards the weekends on a weekly basis. As I mentioned earlier, these webinars and workshops are conducted free of charge. So, I hope you'd attend them without fail. Then you are supposed to refer to a set of slides, the industry analysis slides and the financial analysis slides, with the intention of understanding what happens within your chosen industry, and with the intention of understanding what appears within the financial statements of your company as well as its closest competitor. So let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. So these are the set of financial analysis slides which we developed for a previous case study. So as you can see, each financial statement, we have evaluated it in depth. However, we have made sure to keep things simple so that you can easily understand what appears within each financial statement. So that's exactly what you can see in here. Each financial statement we have evaluated, and then we have moved on to a ratio analysis, focusing on your own company as well as its closest competitor. Again, when it comes to the annotations, we have kept things simple so that you can easily understand what appears within each company's financial statements. And when coming up with these evaluations, we have made sure to carry out a relative evaluation so that you compare your company's performance against your closest competitors' financial performance. So that's exactly what you can see throughout this set of financial analysis slides. So you need not conduct your own financial analysis. You need not work out your own numbers and whatnot. We have done it for you. And on top of that, looking at the industry analysis slides, it comprises of 4 main elements. In the first part, we have provided an overview into your industry so that you really understand what your industry is about. Then we have highlighted industry trends and challenges. Based on these industry trends and challenges, scenarios can be developed at your real exam. So it's of utmost importance that you understand these trends and challenges. And on top of that, at the very end, we have provided examples of about real life companies so that you really understand what happens within your chosen company. So again, as I mentioned earlier, you need not carry out your own research. We have done it for you. So simply refer to this set of industry analysis slides. Within 15 to 20 minutes, you can easily gain an understanding about what happens within your chosen industry. You need not spend time to conduct your own evaluation or your own research. Then you need to refer to top 10 issue slides. These slides indicate the most prominent or most probable scenarios which can be tested at your real exam. And it's best that you refer to the theory recaps as well, E2, F2, and P2 theory recaps, because these theory recaps are good short notes or mind maps which will help you improve your understanding about each syllabus area. Then you are expected to watch the 20 pre-recorded master classes, as I mentioned earlier. we have developed 5 mock exams, and in each mock exam, just like in your real exam, there are 4 tasks in total. So 4 tasks into 5 mock exams come up to 20 tasks in total. And focused on each task, we have developed a masterclass. And what is covered within these masterclasses? In each masterclass, whilst explaining the logic behind each answer, we are teaching you theory and application skills. So as I mentioned earlier, if you are coming through an exemption route, you really need to focus on improving your theory and improving your application skills. However, you cannot learn theory within 8 weeks if you try to refer to your previous study notes, or if you try to go through a study text, you'd take a lot of time to learn theory. So we have made things simple for you. So we have covered the entire syllabus via the 5 mock exams which we have developed. So since the entire syllabus is covered, the best way to learn theory and improve application skills, or to learn how to apply theory in a practical sense, is by watching our master classes. So once you have attempted each mock exam, you are expected to watch the master classes. And as I mentioned earlier, within each master class, whilst explaining the logic of each answer, we are teaching you theory and application skills. So if you watch these master classes within 8 weeks, you can easily learn the entire syllabus, the theoretical elements, and significantly improve your application skills. And you are then expected to refer to the answer plans of all 5 mock exams. Let me quickly show you what an answer plan looks like. So this is what an answer plan looks like. No other service provider is giving you this type of service. So rather than going through pages and pages of suggested answers and trying to figure out the logic behind each answer, or trying to understand how to structure your answer, you simply need to refer to the answer plans which we have developed for you. So, as you can see, the entire answer is in an easily understandable format. It's in a shortened format, so that you can easily understand the logic behind each answer and how each answer should be structured. And once you have attempted each mock exam, you simply need to compare your answer to the answer plans which we have provided, to understand the points which we have missed, to understand how to improve your answers, how you should improve your answers, and what type of points you should have covered. You can evaluate on your own based on the answers which you developed and the answer plans which we have shared with you. So if you are in a position to develop similar answer plans at your examination, then chances of you passing the MCS exam comfortably is extremely high. So just like what appears within this document, you'd get access to the answer plans of all 5 mock exams if you invest on our paid content. And you'd also receive personalized tutor feedback for mocks 3, 4, and 5. So this tutor feedback will ensure that you gain an in-depth understanding about your shortcomings and how you can improve the quality of your answers and whatnot. So that's this is a document which we have developed for a previous student. As you can see, we have come up with in-depth evaluations based on thereby highlighting what's wrong, or highlighting how the quality of answers can improve significantly. And at the very end, so that's what you can see throughout this answer script. You can see the type of feedback which we have provided, and at the very end, overall comments are also provided. And then we will be providing marks on a subtask by subtask basis. You can see that we have indicated a success rate as well. So by looking at this success rate, you are in a position to understand your shortcomings on a subtask by subtask basis. So if you look at this student's performance, in most of the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow, the performance was not up to par, or the performance was substandard. So once you receive tutor feedback, once you know the subtasks in which your performance was low, you are simply expected to redevelop answer plans focused on the subtasks in which your performance was low. So rather than allocating 3 hours of your time and trying to reattempt the entire mock exam again, rather than wasting a lot of time, you simply need to focus on the subtasks in which you didn't do a good job, and then focusing on these elements, you need to focus on redeveloping answer plans. So if you stick to this study process, you can easily get everything done. You can complete the entire to-do list within 8 weeks. You might think that there's too much to do, but if you stick to our study plan, within 8 weeks, you can complete all these requirements in a stress-free environment, just by allocating 7 hours of study time per week. You'd understand what I'm talking about in a short while when I take you through the 8-week study plan. So that is your to-do list. It's an extensive list, I understand that, but you need not worry. Simply stick to the study plan, then you are in a position to complete all these requirements within 8 weeks. And you need to be conversant about the dates, which are going to be important, especially if you are sitting for the MCS exam in August. So your exam entry closes on Tuesday, the 30th of July, 2024. So if you are planning to sit for the MCS exam in August, you have to book your exam before the 30th of July. So, if you have already taken the decision, go ahead and book your exam right now, because when you are closer to the exam entry close, there could be system issues and whatnot. Most students experience these things because when so many people are trying to book the exams, the server might crash. So in order to avoid these type of issues, I invite you to book your exam right now. Then looking at the exam dates, the exams are conducted over 3 days, from the 14th of July until the 16th of July. Okay, so having said that, let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS before we move on to the 8-week study plan. So I'm on the MCS page. So if you're yet to check out the free content, click on this button, and then you can create a free account. And via this free user account, you will gain access to the recorded versions of all the webinars and workshops which we conduct. And on top of that, you will gain access to a free mock exam, its suggested answer, and the answer plan. And on top of that, we have given you access to our exam platform as well. So the free mock exam can be attempted under real exam conditions via our exam platform, free of charge. Okay, so create a free user account, make use of these free resources which we have provided or shared with you. However, I do not want you guys to attempt the free mock exam under exam conditions via our exam platform right now. Wait until we are done with the third webinar, because as I mentioned earlier, in the third webinar, I will be teaching you an answering and time management technique. Once you are aware of these techniques, put them into practice when attempting the free mock exam via our exam platform. Try to figure out whether you are in a position to manage your time properly or whether you run out of time. So, wait until we are done with the third webinar. Other than that, you can start utilizing the remaining free material which are available via our student dashboard. And if you are interested in investing on paid content, click on this button and you can gain access to any of our study material. You can gain an understanding about the quality of our study material before you make your purchase. And if you are yet to join the MCS WhatsApp group, simply click on this button and join it. Via the WhatsApp group, you have the chance of getting in touch with the tutors at TCS. And on top of that, if you have any questions, you can raise them so that you can engage yourself with group learning. The tutors, myself and Jared, will always be there to help you guys out. And on top of that, if you have any issues, you can raise these concerns via the WhatsApp group. We will instantaneously provide solutions. So if you're yet to join it, click on this button and join the WhatsApp group. And talking about what we offer at TCS, we offer two main packages, the value pack and the premium package. So the value pack, talking about the value pack, this is designed for students who are coming through the CIMA general route. As I mentioned earlier, since you have completed your E2, P2 and F2 related OTQs, you need not learn theory. You simply need to focus on improving your application skills. So the value pack comes with the recordings of all webinars and workshops, the 5 mock exams with suggested answers. As I told you earlier, we have made sure to cover the entire MCS syllabus via these 5 mock exams. You'd also gain access to the 4 pre-scene analysis videos. Once you watch these 4 pre-scene analysis videos, you'd gain an in-depth understanding about what's highlighted within the pre-scene document. Then you'd gain access to the annotated pre-scene, which can be downloaded via the student dashboard. And on top of that, you'd gain access to the industry and financial analysis slides, the top 10 likely issues, and the case study familiarization kit. So by going through this familiarization kit within 10 to 15 minutes, you are in a position to understand the technicalities behind the MCS exam. You'd also gain access to a tutor managed live chat and OTQ revision cards. So if you're coming through the CIMA general route, since you already know theory, as I mentioned earlier, you simply need to solely focus on improving your application skills. And once you had attempted a certain mock exam, let's assume there was a question about project management, and if you feel that your answers were not up to the required level of standard, simply refer to the OTQ revision cards, go to project management, which appears under your E2 syllabus, and you can revise what's highlighted within project management within a short period of time by referring to our OTQ revision cards. So after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that you need to brush up your knowledge about a certain theoretical element, simply refer to our OTQ revision cards and do what's necessary to improve your knowledge levels. So the value pack is priced at £199. And talking about the premium package, this is designed for students who are coming through the exemption route, such as FLP and Management Gateway. As I mentioned earlier, if you're coming through an exemption route, you need to learn theory, especially P2 and F2 related syllabus areas. And on top of that, you need to significantly improve your application skills. So with your needs in mind, we have developed the premium package. So the premium package comes with everything which is covered under the value pack. Additionally, you'd gain access to the online mock exam platform. So we have developed an online mock exam platform which replicates the real platform which you'd utilize at your real examination. So all of our 5 mock exams can be attempted under real exam conditions via the exam platform. After the third webinar, or in the third webinar rather, I will be teaching you an answering and time management technique. And in order to get your answering and time management techniques right, you need to keep practicing your answering and time management techniques when attempting each mock exam. And the best way to practice these techniques, and at the same time, the best way to gain an understanding about or be exposed to exam stress is by attempting each mock exam under exam conditions via our exam platform. So once you attempt each mock exam, you'd be champions at managing your time, you'd champion answering technique, and on top of that, you'd know what to do when faced with exam stress. So, and on top of that, you gain access to one-on-one tutor feedback on mocks 3, 4, and 5. I showed you what type of feedback, the type of feedback we offer at TCS, and you'd also gain access to the answer plans of all 5 mock exams. Especially since you are coming through the exemption route, you have to be really conversant about how to apply your knowledge and how to structure your answers properly. So with that in mind, we have developed these set of answer plans so that you'd get your answer structures right. And you'd also gain access to the 20 masterclasses, as I mentioned earlier. And under each masterclass, whilst taking you through the logic or teaching you the logic of each answer, we are teaching you theory and application skills. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this webinar, if you are coming through an exemption route, you need to learn theory and improve application skills. And we have developed these masterclasses with the intention of ensuring that you learn theory and improve application skills simply by watching 20 masterclasses. And once you have access to all these resources, there's absolutely no way you'd fail the MCS exam. So that's exactly why we provide a pass guarantee. under the premium package. So what does this pass guarantee tell us? If you invest on the premium package and end up failing, you will gain access to the premium package in your subsequent sitting free of charge. However, in order to claim the pass guarantee, you need to complete these three requirements. You have to complete all mock exams. Without completing all 5 mock exams, if you feel that you can simply attempt just 1 or 2 mock exams and pass the MCS exam, you are testing your luck. Rather than testing your luck, it's best that you are conversant with how each syllabus area can be tested at your real examination. So with this in mind, you have to complete all 5 mock exams. And when attempting each mock exam, you should not refer to the suggested answers, the answer plans, or the master classes. Instead, try to give your best shot so that you are in a position to understand what your shortcomings are. Okay, so your answers need to be original. And on top of that, you need to meet the performance criteria for mocks 3, 4, and 5. You need to gain 40% or higher for mocks 3, 4, and 5. We have come up with this criteria with the intention of ensuring that you do a serious job when attempting mocks 3, 4, and 5, especially given the fact that we are providing tutor feedback. So once you complete these 3 requirements, there's absolutely no way you'd fail the MCS exam. So that's exactly why we provide a pass guarantee under the premium package. So the package is priced at £749, which can be paid in 2 installments of £374 each. And on the other hand, if you opt to pay in full, you stand a chance of saving £100. If so, the price of the package is just £649. So you can select your preferred payment option or your preferred package and simply click on either of these buttons and purchase it via the website itself by using a debit card or a credit card. Okay, so that's what we offer at TCS. Having said that, let's move on to the second part of today's webinar, where I said I will be taking you through an 8-week study plan. Before we move on to the 8-week study plan, let me quickly address your questions because some questions had come through. So let me pause the recording. All right, folks. So thank you very much for those questions. So having said that, we are moving on to the 8-week study plan. So the 8-week study plan can be accessed via our website itself. As I mentioned earlier, I'm on the MCS page. And if you scroll down, it says get a glimpse of the MCS study plan. Click on this button and you can easily gain access to our 8-week study plan. So we are in week number 1. You are supposed to attend the first webinar study technique. So congratulations, you have already completed this requirement. Then within this week itself, you are supposed to refer to the OTQ theory recaps with the intention of brushing up your theoretical knowledge, and then refer to the MCS familiarization kit to gain an understanding about the technicalities behind the MCS exam. So that's what you are supposed to complete within this week. So in this week, you should primarily focus on improving your theoretical knowledge by referring to the revision cards, especially F2 and P2 related revision cards. Then in the next week, week number 2, you are supposed to attend webinar 2, where I will be conducting a pre-scene analysis, as I mentioned earlier, and you are expected to watch the 4 pre-scene analysis videos after attending the second webinar, because in the second webinar, I will tell you how to, utilize your annotated pre-scene and, what to look for when conducting your evaluations based on the annotated pre-scene document. And once you know what to do with the annotated pre-scene, you are supposed to watch the pre-scene analysis videos, then refer to the annotated pre-scene on your own, and refer to industry and financial analysis slides. So as you can see, week number 2 is solely dedicated towards the pre-scene document with the intention of making sure that you understand what happens within your company, its industry, as well as what appears within the financial statements. So once you are conversant with the pre-scene document, then you have to start attempting mock exams. So when attempting mock exams, you have to attempt each of the 5 mock exams on a weekly basis. Do not wait until the last 2 or 3 weeks until your examination, because if you wait until the last moment, you won't have enough time to conduct your preparation. And on top of that, as I mentioned earlier, this is a professional qualification. So if you are doing a degree program, or if you're following an academic qualification, towards the end of the semester, you can do up your assignments, do up your presentations and whatnot in a jiffy. However, you cannot get everything done within 1 or 2 weeks leading up to the MCS exam. Instead, you have to start your preparations now itself. So from week 3 onwards, as I mentioned earlier, you have to start attempting mock exams. So attend the third webinar, answering technique, to gain an understanding about how to structure your answers and how to manage your time properly. And once you are conversant with these techniques, in order to get it right at your exam, you have to keep practicing these techniques. Just because you know your answering and time management techniques, you won't get it right without spending some time to practice them. So how are you supposed to practice these answering and time management techniques when attempting each of our mock exams? So you are supposed to attempt mock number 1 via the exam platform under exam conditions, thereby putting your answering and time management techniques into practice. And once you are done with the mock attempt, you are supposed to understand the logic of each answer, which you should have developed. You are supposed to learn theory and improve application skills by watching the 4 master classes, which are dedicated towards mock number 1. So once you're done with these requirements, then in the next week, you need to adhere to a similar approach. Attend the 4th webinar, exam prep, to understand what the CIMA examiner tells you. Then attempt mock number 2 and watch the 4 master classes to learn theory and improve application skills focused on mock number 2. And from week 5 onwards, we are starting our workshops, the Q&A sessions. So attend the Q&A, then attempt mock number 3. And as I mentioned earlier, from mock 3 onwards, we are providing tutor feedback. So after attempting mock number 3, you are supposed to refer to the tutor feedback, then watch the 4 master classes to learn theory and improve application skills. So you are supposed to adhere to a similar approach in weeks 6 and 7. In week 6, it's dedicated towards mock number 4, and week 7 is dedicated towards mock number 5. And week number 8 is the week before your exam. And in the last week, you are supposed to attend the final workshop, where I will be sharing last minute tips with you, and then refer to the answer plans of all 5 mock exams. I've mentioned it as 1 to 6 because we are providing 5 mock exams. And in addition to that, we are providing a free mock exam. So all in all, we are providing 6 mock exams in total. So refer to the answer plans of all 6 mock exams. Once you do it, you are going through, it's as if you are going through the entire syllabus, revising the entire syllabus once more. At the same time, trying to revise the logic behind each answer, which is going to be extremely beneficial at your real exam. And you are supposed to reread the annotated pre-scene. And you have to stop preparations a day prior to the exam, sleep, eat, and rest well. So if your exam is on the 14th of August, you have to stop all your work by the 12th of August and take a break on the 13th, relax, because if you are to play the role of a finance manager in a real life corporate setting, you have to be relaxed. So let's assume you are walking into office on a Monday. If you are up till late on Sunday, you might have been studying, or you might have been partying, or whatever. If you are up till late, you cannot function properly as a finance manager when you walk into office on a Monday. So since the examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment, you have to make sure that you rest a day before your exam, because if you are resting both mentally and physically, then you can achieve the required level of open-mindedness at your real exam. You can play the role of a finance manager in the most successful manner. So when all the other students are scrambling for time within the last week, as you can see, you are not attempting any mock exams, you are not going through extreme levels of stress, Instead, you are simply referring to the answer plans and rereading the annotated pre-seen. So you are involved with revision, and revising is all about simply going through a set of documents when all the other students are trying to attempt one or two mock exams within the last week. So if you adhere to our study plan, you can easily get rid of your exam stress. And on top of that, as you can see, on a weekly basis, you just need to allocate 7 hours of study time per week. Everything else is handled by us. So your real responsibility is to attempt a mock exam per week. And after you attempt a mock per week, it's just about, going through the master classes which we have developed for you, and focused on the subtasks in which your performance was low. You are expected to redevelop answer plans. So I'll tell you how to implement this in a practical sense. Let's assume you are in week number 5. So leave out Monday because Mondays are usually hectic. So let's assume you attempt mock number 3 on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, watch the master classes to learn theory and improve application skills. And by Thursday, you will receive tutor feedback because you'd receive tutor feedback within 48 hours. So if you attempt your mock on a Tuesday, you will receive feedback by Thursday. So by Thursday, you would know what your shortcomings are. And on Friday, focus on the subtasks in which your performance was low and focus on redeveloping answer plans. And towards the weekend, simply attend the webinar or the workshop and spend time with your family members. I know for a fact that weekends, during the weekends, usually you do your laundry or you do your cooking and you try to spend some time with your family members. Just because you are doing your MCS exams, do not change this process. Spend time with your family members, do your household chores, or towards the weekend, simply in the weekend, you are supposed to attend the webinar or workshop. Other than that, do not focus on CIMA during the weekends. Instead, attempt the exam on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, watch the master classes. Then you'd learn theory and improve application skills. By Thursday, you'd receive tutor feedback and on Thursday itself, you can focus on redeveloping answer plans. So that's what you are expected to do. You just need to allocate 7 hours of study time per week. And by allocating just 7 hours of study time in the last week, you will be relaxing when all the other students are scrambling for time. So I hope you'd stick to the study plan, and on a weekly basis, you can get in touch with us to keep track of whether you are adhering to the study plan or not. And if you're falling short, we are always there to help you with it. We will develop or we will help you with redeveloping or restructuring the study plan, taking considering your needs. Okay, so stick to the study plan. If you do, you just need to allocate 7 hours of study time per week, and you conduct all the activities which were highlighted within the to-do list within just 8 weeks. And a week before the exam, you will be relaxing, which is going to be extremely beneficial at your real exam. So that is our 8-week study plan, which can be accessed via our website itself. All right, so I've been talking for the past hour. So now it's your chance to talk. If you have any questions, you can switch on your mic and talk, or drop a message via the chat section. Any questions, folks? All right, folks, thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. So, let me remind you about the pass rate, which we achieved for the February MCS sitting. We achieved a 91% pass rate. And, these students, most of our students who adhered to our study plan gained more than 100 marks at their MCS exam. So when you are expected to score 80 marks out of 150, most of our students who adhere to our weekly study plan gained more than 100 marks. So you can achieve a similar feat by adhering to our study plan. Okay, and if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. So simply go to our website and click on the contact button, and you can raise your question here and submit it. then you can send us an email via info@study@tcs.com or WhatsApp us on this number. So I invite you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially TikTok and YouTube. The recorded versions of each of these webinars and workshops are uploaded onto our YouTube channel. And via TikTok, you'd gain access to mind map, which covers the entire pre-scene document within just 6 to 7 minutes. So on a daily basis, until your exam, if you keep watching these 3 TikTok videos, you are in a position to easily remember what appears within or what's highlighted within your pre-scene document. So go to our TikTok handle and check out these 3 pre-scene mind maps which we have prepared for you. So the concluding thought is to approach MCS as an opportunity to learn rather than an exam to pass, especially given the fact that the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So having said that, it brings us to the end of today's webinar. I hope you gain something out of this webinar, and I hope you keep attending the weekly webinars and workshops which we have scheduled for you. And I hope to see you next Saturday, where I will be conducting a pre-scene analysis, thereby taking you through the industry dynamics as well as the internal dynamics of Flatthall. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.